Narcissism and perfectionism, the double-edged sword of unrealistic expectations. Perfectionism is often seen as a desire to achieve excellence, but when combined with narcissistic traits, it can become a source of intense pressure, strained relationships, and emotional turmoil. Narcissistic perfectionism, a specific form of perfectionism, is characterized by a relentless need to meet unattainable standards, often rooted in the desire for validation and fear of failure. This article explores the relationship between narcissism and perfectionism, its psychological underpinnings, behavioral manifestations, and strategies for finding balance and self-compassion. Understanding narcissistic perfectionism. Narcissistic perfectionism is distinct from other forms of perfectionism due to its focus on external validation and ego preservation. It manifests in several key ways. 1. Self-oriented perfectionism, setting excessively high standards for oneself to reinforce an idealized self-image. 2. Other-oriented perfectionism, demanding perfection from others to maintain a sense of superiority. 3. Socially prescribed perfectionism, believing others expect perfection, leading to anxiety and overcompensation. Psychological roots of narcissistic perfectionism. The origins of narcissistic perfectionism can often be traced to 1. Insecure attachment. Early experiences of conditional love or excessive criticism may lead to the belief that worth is tied to performance. 2. Fear of vulnerability, striving for flawlessness to avoid exposing weaknesses or insecurities. 3. Need for control. Perfectionism serves as a way to assert control over outcomes and maintain a sense of power. 4. Validation dependency, constantly seeking external approval to affirm self-worth. Behavioral manifestations. Narcissistic perfectionism shapes behaviors and interactions in distinct ways. In personal life, reluctance to delegate, fear that others will not meet their standards leads to micromanagement, difficulty accepting flaws, struggling to acknowledge personal mistakes or imperfections, unrealistic expectations, imposing rigid standards on oneself and loved ones, causing tension. In professional settings, overworking, sacrificing personal well-being to meet or exceed unattainable goals, criticism of others, highlighting colleagues' perceived inadequacies to maintain a sense of superiority, avoidance of risk, preferring tasks they can excel at rather than attempting new or uncertain challenges. In social interactions, superficial charm, presenting an idealized image to gain admiration, defensiveness, reacting harshly to perceived criticism or failure to meet expectations, isolation, struggling to form genuine connections due to fear of exposing imperfections. Consequences of narcissistic perfectionism. While the pursuit of perfection may yield temporary achievements, its long-term effects are often detrimental. 1. Emotional burnout. The constant effort to meet unrealistic standards leads to exhaustion and stress. 2. Relationship strain. Imposing perfectionistic demands on others fosters resentment and distance. 3. Reduced creativity. Fear of failure stifles innovation and willingness to explore new ideas. 4. Chronic dissatisfaction. Even accomplishments feel inadequate, perpetuating a cycle of self-criticism. Strategies for managing narcissistic perfectionism. Both narcissistic individuals and those around them can adopt strategies to mitigate the impact of perfectionism. For narcissistic individuals. 1. Set realistic goals, define achievable objectives that prioritize progress over perfection. 2. Practice self-compassion, replace self-criticism with understanding and kindness when facing setbacks. 3. Focus on growth, emphasize learning and improvement rather than flawless outcomes. 4. Challenge cognitive distortions, identify and reframe thoughts that perpetuate perfectionistic tendencies. 5. Seek professional support. Therapy can help address underlying insecurities and develop healthier coping mechanisms. For loved ones and colleagues. 1. Encourage balance, gently remind them of the importance of rest and self-care. 2. Model healthy behavior, demonstrate acceptance of imperfections in yourself and others. 3. Set boundaries, protect yourself from unreasonable demands or criticism. 4. Reinforce positive efforts, acknowledge their accomplishments and attempts to relax perfectionistic tendencies. Building a healthier mindset. For narcissistic individuals, overcoming perfectionism involves shifting focus from external validation to intrinsic fulfillment. Accept imperfection, recognize that flaws are a natural and valuable part of the human experience. Celebrate effort, value hard work and dedication rather than just outcomes. Prioritize well-being, balance ambition with self-care and emotional health. Embrace vulnerability, allow room for mistakes and imperfections to build resilience and authenticity. Conclusion. Narcissistic perfectionism reflects a deep-seated struggle to reconcile the desire for excellence with the fear of failure and vulnerability. By fostering self-awareness, practicing self-compassion, and embracing imperfection, narcissistic individuals can break free from the cycle of unrealistic expectations. For those engaging with narcissists, offering support and setting boundaries can create a more balanced and understanding dynamic.